Ji-Woon Hak, also known as the Trickster. Even as a boy, Ji-Woon Hak thrived under the attention of other people, giving him adrenaline when people chanted his name and applauded him. When he worked at his family's restaurant, he would perform amazing talents with his throwing knives, attracting tourists and locals all over South Korea. His father used all the restaurant's money for dancing and vocal lessons for Ji-Woon, pushing him into the life of fame and fortune, something he didn't know he could attain. During his performances with different people in talent shows, he met Yoon-jin Lee, a producer at Mighty One Entertainment, and recruited him under her training program. For 14 hours a day, Ji-Woon had crafted into a star, learning how to move and sing, how to carry himself with the right balance of confidence and modesty. With his training complete, Ji-Woon got selected to join the band No Spin, which gave them almost immediate fame. His life was filled with interviews and adoration, and was invigorated, even if the band was exhausted from the frenzied schedule they had. Over time, however, he saw his fans having their joy and envy split to his other members as well, and this left Ji-Woon to crave more attention onto him alone. After a recording session was done for the latest No Spin album, Ji-Woon went on a lengthy lunch break, but he returned to the studio to find the control room on fire from the burned wires. His bandmates were trapped inside from the fallen speakers and begged Ji-Woon to help them get out. Ji-Woon, at first, started to grab the speaker to help them escape, but for a moment he stopped as he heard their friends cry for his name. They cried for his name as they were being burned alive. It was the most beautiful thing he ever heard. Ji-Woon was soon celebrated as a tragic hero figure who tried everything he could to save his friends, though no one else knew what actually happened. Yoon-jin paraded him through interviews until she rebranded him into a solo artist. From this point, Ji-Woon was reborn as the Trickster, an artist who produced his own songs and something dark that began to grow inside him, something that was away from concert setups and television stages. He started targeting victims that lived alone, using them to torture into chanting his name he can use for his music. The first victim he caught was a college music student with a captivating voice. While Ji-Woon was torturing the student, he couldn't hear the sound he needed, instead just hearing the muffled cries from the rag. He needed to hear the victim's wondrous voice pleading as he cut them open. Through this, he learned and adjusted with his other victims. He would abduct them when they were alone, taken to an abandoned building where they could let out their shrieks of horror for his music. Each cut was different, making his victims scream in a different tone before they would be killed. Using their screams that he recorded, he would synthesize them and work it into his songs, with their voices hiding behind layers of melodies. His killing spree elevated to new heights, even leaving hints for the police just to mess with them. A victim's throat would get slashed and would get a photo shoot. A man would have his teeth removed in a music video, and even a VIP fan that met Ji-Woon would end up getting killed and have her eyes replaced with his diamond cufflinks. Across her chest, a message was written, "I have seen God." All of his work with music and murder, Ji-Woon captured the globe that couldn't stop talking about him. It was the best moment of his life. But his music career started taking a hit. Revenue was going down, and Mighty One executives were going to let Ji-Woon go, but Yoon-jin defended him. It was decided, however, that Ji-Woon can no longer produce his own songs, which gave him an idea to help change their minds. He had 3 months to produce a private show for the Mighty One's board members, and this was going to be his magnum opus. Using nitrous oxide he bought from a veterinarian, and after he bribed a stage technician for access to a theater private room, the gas filled up the room the executives and stagehands were in that waited for him, knocking them all out except for Yoon-jin, who resisted the effects of the gas. Ji-Woon quickly binded everyone, only hesitating on Yoon-jin, the woman that not only got him to where he is today, but even recently defending him. She would be the sole audience of the spectacular show he was about to perform. Along with the sound of his self-produced melodies, he tortured everyone he tied up, gracefully dashing from one body to the next, making them shout and scream, crying for their loved ones. Yoon-jin was horrified to see and hear what was happening. Using his throwing knives, Ji-Woon would continue torturing them until they all fell silent and he took a bow. With blade in hand, he prepares to go over to Yoon-jin to finish her off to tie up any loose ends. But an eager fan wanted to meet up with him personally, the entity. The fog suddenly surrounded Ji-Woon and transported him to its realm. He didn't know where he was. All he saw were different stage areas filled with rusted hooks and eyes of millions that would watch him. He smiled, knowing the attention he seeked seemed to never end, constantly using their screams for his show. It was time for an encore. You know, I don't blame him. He does put on quite a show, almost as if the Joker was Korean. His ability Showstopper allows him to throw his blades at survivors from a distance, almost like if the hunters threw a bunch of tiny hatchets constantly. Each time a blade lands a hit, they get a laceration mark. Once they get it 8 times, that's when they get injured and lose a health state, or even be put on the dying state. Getting hit by these blades fills up Ji-Woon's meter to do the main event, which makes him unrelentingly throw his blades until the meter runs out. It's quite useful if you want to literally cut the chase short. Ji-Woon's perks allows him to permanently block the window that a survivor performed a rush vault over as long as the hex totem isn't blessed or cleansed, block the 2 exit gates for 6 to 12 seconds per token, which can be gained after hooking a survivor, putting the maximum time to 36 to 60 seconds, and make survivors suffer from exposed in your terror radius while you're carrying a survivor, even making the status linger for an additional 26 to 30 seconds after hooking or dropping the survivor. Overall, I would put him in B tier. While he isn't my favorites, the fact you can just gun them down with your blades can work wonders, impeding everyone's progress. Plus, you can be really annoying with your unrelenting chase. Originally, I was going to put him in C tier, but what gave him a positive point for me is his No Way Out perk. Similar to Freddy's perk, you still have a chance to get someone down while the exit gates are blocked. Guess that's his way of playing tricks on his victims. Man, my aiming needs a lot of work in this game.